Life goals shouldn't take a lifetime. Life goals shouldn't take a lifetime. E-Trade actually did a great commercial on this. And if you're watching this on YouTube, there's actually a link in the description. It took me a while to find it, and I found the link to the video, or I finally found it and actually uploaded it to my channel and put a link to it in the description. If you're listening to this on podcasts and you got a second to look it up, it'll also be in the show notes for the podcast. And it's a 30-second commercial. It's worth a watch. But if you're driving or whatever and you're listening to podcast, I'll just explain it to you. So it's a little girl sees a video of Mount Everest, and it's the greatest mountain on earth, right? And she gets inspired to climb it, and her brother's like, keep dreaming. And so then it's this montage of her saving money and putting coins and dollars into her Mount Everest fund, a big jar of money, and she's putting it as a kid, and then as a young adult, and then as a middle-aged adult, and then as an older adult, and she's saving all these things, and then finally it shows her packing her bags, and then in the last scene, it shows her, and she's like 80 years old, right? And she's climbing Mount Everest in a big snowsuit, and she's got a walker, and it's windy and blowing, and it looks horrible, right? And then it shows her two local guides, and in their native dialect, and it's got the subtitles. Like one of them's like comments like, she saved her whole life for this, and then the other one says maybe she should have invested, and then it hits the splash screen. It's like lifelong dreams shouldn't take a lifetime, and it's a great commercial on that. So often we will save for dreams, right? We will save for the things that we want to do, but we don't always invest for them. We don't always do it in the best possible way. And so life goals, right, shouldn't take a lifetime. They don't need to. And you should dream, right? You should dream dreams. You should have goals. You should desire more for your life, and to do bigger things, and to experience bigger things, and to get the most out of what you've been given. That's part of what makes life sweet, is that we can pursue greater things, and whether that's experiences, vacations, whether it's owning bigger things, whether it's making a bigger impact, right? We talked about that last week. There are things that you can do, but we can do them better, right? Just because it's a life goal, just because it's these big monstrous things that we want to do, doesn't have to mean that it takes a lifetime to do those. We need to make a plan. If we really want to do some of these things, if we want to really have these dreams, then for some of us, we just need to make a plan to get there, right? A goal without a plan is just a wish, right? And many of us, we make goals, but we don't create a plan to get there. We may think of things, we might even write them down, right? Most people don't even write down their goals, but some people may even write down a goal or two here and there, but we don't make any plans to achieve them. We don't actually move toward those things. But if you're serious about your goals, then we need to create a plan to make them a reality. And so life goals often need financial goals, right? If your goals in life cost any money at all, then often we're going to require some money in order to achieve those goals. And you likely need a certain level of financial success in order to fund those goals, right? Money is not the goal, money funds the goal. And if your goals are big and you've got great things that you want to do or experience in life, then we're going to need great finances to get there. And so perhaps you need to achieve some financial goals first so that you can achieve these life goals. And this may mean, articulating your goals, right? Creating a plan to achieve those goals and doing the work to get there, right? Maybe you need to get out of debt, right? Maybe you need to live more simply and not buy so much so that you can get out of debt and dig yourself out of a hole so that you can move forward, right? It's hard to focus on the future when you're still paying for the past. Maybe we need to get on a budget, and so we can stop wasting our money on frivolous things and instead focus those funds on your true life goals. That's why we talk so much about financial goals. Really, at the heart of any financial goal, at the heart of financial planning and creating better ways, more efficient ways for people to meet their goals, is often the financial goal is tied to a greater life goal, right? We're not trying to save $1 million for retirement just so I have $1 million. You're trying to do it so you can have a retirement of security and enjoy the relationships and the impact and all the other things in retirement, right? And so all the financial goals we create are just there to fund other goals. And so we need to create a plan. We need to be able to articulate, what do you really want? And if you've never taken the time to create a vision for your life, to create goals, to create targets, to create a plan to get there, maybe that's what we need to do. And life goals don't need to take a lifetime, right? That's why we can invest. There are a number of financial goals that you may need to hit in order to hit your life goals, but most of them will be that so you can do one thing, which is to invest, to accelerate your accomplishing of your bigger life goals by investing, right? Because for a lot of people, like, we shouldn't actually be doing any investing if we have credit cards, right? If we have credit card balances, or we shouldn't actually be doing any investing if we have other things that we need to take care of first. And so maybe there's some financial goals we need to hit so that we can invest and more efficiently meet our life goals. Don't just save for your goals, invest for them. Don't just save for your goals, invest for them. Don't save for your dreams, invest, and let the eighth wonder of the world, right? Compounding. Let the eighth wonder of the world, compounding, carry you to greater heights. Create an investing plan. Understand and believe in equity investing and owning the best businesses in the world and letting their profits soar and carry you to your life goal. Right? Don't just throw money in a jar. Don't throw dollar bills into a jar and hope that eventually you'll have enough in this jar to do anything big. You won't. We need to have a plan and to invest. It's unlikely that you have an Everest fund, right? An account that's specifically dedicated to your goals. And some people do this, right? They try to save in all these little accounts for all these different things, and you get little dollars here and there. And yeah, it's not enough money to really invest, so we're just going to keep it in a bank account. And they got a bunch of bank accounts, and that's one way to do it. But it's likely that by investing, your money will work much harder for you, so that you don't need to contribute as much to them. Right, so here's an example, right? Let's see. So maybe you have two goals, financial goals. One is to retire, at some age, right? And then the other is you want to fund your kids or your grandkids' education, right? And obviously the retirement goal, like that, there's financial goals mixed up in there, but so that you can enjoy, time with your relationships and all these other things. So there's the financial that ties this, and this other one, like, you want to be able to help your children or grandchildren get a good education so that they can have a good life. And there's a financial goal attached to that. And so a lot of people will want to, open up 529s or education savings accounts, all these things for all their different kids or all the different grandkids, and they're throwing a little bit of money here and there, and they're spreading what they're able to do with their cash flow too thin. And they got a whole bunch of balls up in the air, and you can't do a lot with any of them because there's too many. You got a quantity issue, and you can't put the quality of contributions to them. So one of the things that a good financial plan can do, right, is it can establish, hey, what do we actually need to be putting toward this retirement goal? Like, what if, through optimizing your investment plan, through investing better in your retirement accounts and having a good strategy there, what if we don't actually need to contribute as much to retirement as we thought? Right? Or what if instead of trying to put a little bit in all these different accounts, what if we stop doing it? And it's like, oh, but my child is already 5, my grandkids are already 3. Like, we got to start investing, right? You're supposed to start early so that you can let all that compound for them. But what if instead you put all that into your retirement instead? And because your time horizon is probably further out than theirs is, right? Because college is a very defined time horizon. Right? When they turn 18 or 19 or whatever, like, they're going to college. And so you need to have it invested right. And we don't know what the market's going to do leading right up to that. And so you can't invest long-term as long for college, right? You got to be able to turn something around and make sure that's available when you need it, because it's a very defined 4-year time window, right? Retirement's not like that. Retirement is it's got a start time, and it's maybe farther out for some of you than your kids going to college, or your grandkids or whatever. And certainly from when it starts to when it ends, you got decades there. So it's much easier to stay invested in the best businesses in the world for retirement than it is for saving for college. And so one strategy might be that we're not going to put any money in any college savings accounts for any kids. And we're going to invest all of it in our own retirement, in the best businesses of the world, and let that compound. And because we've invested so much more in our own retirement, that by the time those kids or grandkids get to college, we've got way more in our retirement accounts than we would have otherwise had, and more than we need. And then when we've let time work for us across that whole time, right? And then we can ease back off our contributions to our retirement account and instead just cash flow college. Instead of saving for it in the past, we set ourselves up to be in such a good position that we can cash flow college for our children or grandchildren, and just write checks for each semester. And in that way, right, we're not investing for college, but we're investing along the way so that we can still fund college. And there's a lot of different things like that, different ways that again, having a plan and knowing what the best way to plan for these things are can help you achieve better outcomes. But certainly just saving for your goals in a coin bank or in a savings account is not the way to do it. Don't just save for your goals, invest for them. Life goals shouldn't take a lifetime. Don't just save, invest. That's going to do it for this year. I hope that we've taught you some things, that we've built your knowledge, that we've built your belief, that we've inspired you to believe better and to take action on some things. We got lots of resources. We've got 4 different seminars that are out there now, workshops that we have online. We've got 52 episodes now this year, plus all the ones we did before that. We got lots of content out there to help you to do well in 2023. If you have life goals and this resonates with you and you realize, I need to make a plan. I need to do something about these because these life goals will take me a lifetime if I don't have a plan, if I'm not working towards these things. But I don't know where to start. I've heard of these things, but just how do we do this? A hobby of mine is personal performance and reading, personal development books and trying to get better at in all areas of life and my relationship with God and my relationship with my wife and my kids and my friends and physically and mentally and financially and vocationally and recreationally, all the different domains of life. and I kind of have this hobby of trying to just pursue that and get better. And I've found just different principles and practices that have really helped me to improve in different areas of life. And so as a reminder to myself of these things and to keep my focus on the right things and to keep me on track, I've created some resources because I'm a big believer in reinforcing belief and that behavior follows belief. And so if we want better behavior, we need to keep our belief in that good behavior high. And so I've created some videos, podcasts, those types of things, just to remind myself of these principles and practices that I need to be following. I've been doing a lot of these things for several years now, and I've just kind of put these things together. And so we talked about some of those things last year, around this time, end of the year. We call it a couple episodes on what a victorious cycle is and how to create one. And I've kind of taken that concept just as a hobby, instead of watching more TV or just in my spare time, instead of wasting it, trying to even redeem some of that time and be a little bit more creative and to come up with some of these things. And so I'm expanding that idea of the victorious cycle and, learning how to create visions and goals and plans to get there and how to execute better and what principles do we need to believe and what practices do we need to follow that will help us to get better in all areas of our life and to start achieving some of these life goals. And I've achieved a lot of goals. I've missed some goals. But I can see over my life, it's almost like the stock market where I have my ups and downs, but the trajectory has steadily been up over the last 10 years. And so I've made this stuff just for myself as a reminder, but also I'm opening up to anyone else that wants to, as we're going into 2023, or going into a new year. If you want to improve, if you want to be better and you just want a place to start, then you're welcome to just check that out. It's victoriouscycle.com. There'll be a link in the show notes of this episode, podcast, and YouTube to that website, and there'll be some videos on there. Again, this is just something I do as a hobby in my spare time, so there'll be some things up there right away just to get you started, and then I'll release more content as I have time. Some parts of the year I have more time than others, and so it might be sporadic. I'm not trying to do once a week like I do with this, right? This is all part of my real job, as we say, and so I'm obviously going to prioritize basically everything other than releasing this victorious cycle content, make sure that I'm doing all my other things that I need to be doing. But then again, in my spare time, instead of watching more TV or instead of, wasting more time on the internet, trying to do something more creative with that. And so if that's something that you're interested in and you want to get better in all areas of life and you want a place to start, you're welcome to check that out. And again, that's victoriouscycle.com. Maybe we'll see you over there as well. That's it for this year. That wraps up 2022. I hope that this content's been helpful. Hope that it's built some, increased your knowledge, built some belief, and inspired some action for you. And we'll see you before you know it in this new year, right away in this new year, in case financial goals are one of your priorities for this year, that we're going to take 2023 to get better. One of the foundations for that is cash flow and being better with the money that we have coming in and going out. So right away in the year, we're gonna do some episodes and a workshop. I was only gonna do 4 workshops, but we decided to do one more. We're gonna do a workshop on cash flow and budgeting and all that stuff to help, again, build some knowledge for you, build some belief around that, and inspire some action in getting better with your finances. I need it. You may need it. So together, we're going to explore this and learn how to make the most of what we've been given in 2023 and potentially make it the best financial year that we've ever had. So look forward to seeing you next year. We'll be there before you know it. Happy New Year, and we'll see you next week. Cheers. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did enjoy that, you would love being a part of our free membership community. It's called Retire Membership, and you can sign up today completely for free. When you do that, you get a host of bonus and exclusive content that we don't give out anywhere else. For example, you can buy my book, 3D Retirement Income, on Amazon, but if you become a Retire member, we will send you one for free or give you the audiobook and ebook just for signing up. You also get additional bonus content, exclusive content, including Client Corner insights from some of the best minds in behavioral investing, workbooks to go along with our workshops to help you get the most out of it, and more ongoing bonus and exclusive content. Some of this you can't get anywhere else, and so we would love for you to join our community. You can join now at retiremembership.com. Otherwise, there's a link in the description of this video where you can sign up. All we want to do is continue to give you the best information out there so that you can retire successfully and stay successfully retired. So you can go in there, do that on our website. There's also a longer form podcast. I think it's episode 80 that will help explain what it is and what we're trying to do with Retire Membership. But join now for free. Get this and much more exclusive content by joining us today. We look forward to seeing you there, and thanks for watching. Cheers.